Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to another LimeVibe Live podcast. I'm your host, Yari Kemp, your fire starter, along with my beautiful co-host, Miss Kimberly Ramcalawan from Trinidad and Tobago. How are you doing tonight, Kimberly?
I'm doing well, Yari. How are you?
All is well, all is well. Well, first, before we start, I have to apologize for not having Wednesday night show. Yours truly was traveling back and forth for a project, and I didn't have a chance to actually sit in front of a computer to actually start the show with Kim. So I apologize for not having a show on Wednesday. So I know we promised to do something different on Wednesday, and that's what I was trying to do, but I just could not get everything coordinated and the logistics worked out enough so I could have an actually decent, I could actually have a good show. And actually the timing was off. I was about 2 hours behind everybody else on this side of the world. So the timing was off, but I'm here tonight and I'm glad you guys tuned in again for another LimeVibe Live podcast. So we have a lot to talk about tonight, don't we though, Kim?
Yeah, first of all, I'm saying that one day less without Yari Camp is missed.
There you go.
Yeah, so
before you start, Kim, I have to remind people, if you have not liked and subscribed to our page, please like and subscribe to our pages, please. The YouTube page, LimeVibe, or the Facebook page, LimeVibe. That really helps us out a lot. Okay, so go to our Facebook page and just click like on any of the videos or click like on any of the videos on our YouTube page. And it really helps us out a lot. Subscribe to our pages too, please. So there you go, Kim. Start off.
Yeah, well, we have a lot happening here in Trinidad, Our Prime Minister is a lot in the news lately. I think he's headed to Barbados. He says it has nothing to do with that Brent Thomas case. It has everything to do with him going on some green golf courses in Barbados to get some much needed relaxation here. And everyone here is taking it as a slap in the face as he's able to escape the crime situation that we're facing here in Trinidad. And a lot of people are saying, oh, how lucky you are able to just jump on a plane and do something like that. While the rest of us here, remain at home waiting.
Well, it's safer at Barbados, isn't it?
Yes, so, but he is safe at home. He's privy to national security and all the defense forces coming to his aid in the event of something, and he has them surrounded, all his gates and doors and everything like that. He's protected where he is.
Okay. Do you have a house for the Prime Minister in Trinidad, or he has his own private residence?
Yes, it is actually not too far from the Savannah, Queen's Park, Savannah. It's in St. Anne's. There's a big residence. Prime Minister Patrick Manning would have built the diplomatic center. That's what it's called. It's the official residence of the Prime Minister.
That's cool. That's cool. We don't have one over here. And they're actually been mulling that for the past 15 years now, whether or not the Bahamas should have a Prime Minister's residence. I think you should just build one already, because it just makes sense, doesn't it, right?
I think so, because it allows for diplomatic meetings and things like that. They're people of public interest, and when it comes to welcoming the people of the public and they're interacting with international people at all the time, it's nice to have a place that is, safe and
yeah. I agree, Kim. That's good because, like you say, it just gives a comfortable place, and then you can always have your home for your home. But then you have this for work. So let's separate the two,
Yeah. The former Prime Minister, Carmen Prasad-Visesa, she had her home in Philippines, Palmis, that's in San Fernando near us. And she spent most of her time down there. There was actually a police post down there rather than her staying here. I don't know if it's because of her husband's doctor's practice or what. But a lot of the times we ended up going to her home, her personal home, meet and greet her for press conferences. There was usually stakeouts. I had many stakeouts at her. So it's always good. And before that, Prime Minister Patrick Manning, his home is in San Fernando in Sumad Gardens. He has a lovely home where it's up on a hill. It is a picturesque view of the San Fernando area and the Gulf of Paria.
Oh, that's good. That's nice. The late Patrick Manning, the legend Patrick Manning. But back to this story with Rowley, though. He said he's not over in Barbados dealing with this Brent Thomas situation.
No. He says it's no, contrary to what you're thinking, that I'm going to Barbados to do some kind of damage control. It's not like that. But I'm sure that he is going to be meeting with the Barbados Attorney General at some point in time. Barbados has a dignitary from a fellow CARICOM member state on their land, on their soil, and I'm sure once visiting member states are present, any high diplomat visiting, you are allowed a certain level of security.
Yes.
You are given, some kind of, I'm sure, entertainment of some sort by the dignitaries in Barbados. I'm sure if Prime Minister Motley is not so busy, I'm sure she's going to be meeting with him. Perhaps meeting with him on the greens where he's going to play his golf.
Yes. 1 second though, Kim. My camera's acting up, so I'm gonna put the camera on you for a second. Okay, let's continue talking. So this Brent Thomas guy, he is a arms dealer, isn't he?
He's an arms dealer. He's a known arms dealer here in Trinidad. He actually supplies ammunition and guns, weapons to the law enforcement agencies here in Trinidad. So he is known for that. And whatever was done with him seems to be a bit out of remit when it comes to our TTPS and those that decided to do something with him. They actually said to have kidnapped him and took him across to Barbados on an RSS plane. As you know, Trinidad and Tobago is not a member of the RSS. And for that to have happened, it means that the TTPS must have called some shots. It means that our government officials, whether it be our Attorney General or Prime Minister, Foreign Affairs Minister, National Security Minister, must have been aware of something happening. So them trying to distance themselves from it, the Prime Minister of our country, Dr. Rowley, hosted a press conference on Wednesday saying that he was not aware of this happening. And a lot of the consensus on the street right now is that they don't believe that he was not aware of it. Someone in his cabinet must have been aware of it, of them taking this person from Piarco and landing in Grantley Airport, So it's something that needs answers and clarification. I know the Barbados Attorney General Dale Marshall says he is calling for a report on the matter, while the Barbados Police Complaints Authority is asking for the Commissioner Boyce in Barbados to report on it as well. They're going to launch an investigation, or Prime Minister himself during the press conference on Wednesday, in his attempt to distance himself, he called for our Commissioner of Police to provide a report on this, what really happened. But no one is buying it that he knew nothing of it. And it's something that is rippling throughout the region. You're hearing the news across the state. You're hearing it. You're seeing it. People are asking questions. And to implicate our neighbor in Barbados, it's unfair to them, I think it's unfair. And we wait and see what's going to happen. What will be the legal ramifications of something like this? So he has called for investigation into the whole thing. What is the vindictive matter in this whole thing for Brent Thomas, the arms dealer that has been caught up in this mess, is that a High Court judge ruled in his favor a few weeks ago and cleared his name and said the entire situation has raised serious concerns on constitutional propriety of the actions of the TTPS. He too has been asked to be fully briefed on the entire situation.
Wow. So this is just a international affair, isn't it, right? I would say you could abduct her. Then he's an arms dealer on top of that, though, Kim. I mean, that is very significant if he's an arms dealer, man.
It is very highly suspicious and sudden, according to Prime Minister Rowley. Why is this, happening? It's raising concerns in Barbados and in Trinidad. And they took him to Barbados and then have him to return to Trinidad to face charges. And they said the judge, Justice Rampersad, actually said that this was an international abduction and was executed in cahoots with the TTPS. That was his ruling. So what was the whole reasoning behind taking him to Barbados soil? Why? What you wanted to do him? What constitutional leeway is there in Barbados that you needed to do something like that? It raises all those questions.
Yeah, it does. It raises all those questions, man, because I can't see how the Trinidad police could be involved in something so incredibly, criminal, looks blatantly criminal, man.
He was awakened in the dead of the night and banging on his door. And he was dragged, taken to Piarco Airport and then carried over there on an RSS plane, right? So they had their meetings. I don't know what the RSS is saying on this. So that's something else we would want to know.
Yeah, because I can imagine. Can't wait for the statement from Barbados. I just reached out to my police friend in Barbados to see what he has to say about it, to see if he has any kind of inside scoop of what's happening with it. So I'll just wait to hear what he has to say about it, because this sounds absolutely mad, man. Go back.
So, but our police service has not said anything too much to it, and our AG says it raises some serious concerns. But why? What is the whole issue? I mean, everybody's casting a lot of aspersions. I will not want to say anything to it. I know that we raised a lot of issues here in the past when it came to what's happening to the ammunition. It's a known fact that ammunition here that belongs to TTPS and the regiment is being used in killings, in extradital killings. So I'm not sure, it's alleged, we don't know what's going on. But people will cast aspersions as to what is really the motive for all of this. I think, and what is it? They want to get a CARICOM arrest warrant. So they want to know whether that was used. Okay, I'm not hearing you, Yuri.
Sorry, is there such a thing as a CARICOM arrest warrant?
I'm checking it, and according to what was written here, they're saying a CARICOM arrest warrant may be used for arrest and surrender of a person if they are reasonably suspected of having committed an applicable offense, such as being charged with an applicable offense, has fled justice, having been convicted of an applicable offense, or a custodial sentence of 1 year or greater punishment has been imposed for such applicable offense.
Has anybody heard from Brent Thomas yet, or his lawyer?
I mean, obviously he will be speaking through his lawyer, but I have, they're going, I guess they're trying to gather everything. They would be careful as to what they're putting out in public right now too, because a lot of people are talking about it. You've got Barbados talking, you've got many parties in it. So they're trying to armor their case and have something solid and go before the courts.
But I just don't understand why he's being taken to Barbados of all places. Why Barbados? I mean, I don't understand why Barbados is involved in this.
Barbados is the headquarters of the RSS.
Oh,
it's the headquarters of it, so that I'm guessing that is why.
Oh, okay. So is he wanted in Barbados?
And we are not a member. Trinidad and Tobago is not a member of the RSS.
Is he wanted in Barbados? Is Brent Thomas guy? Is he wanted for arms trafficking in Barbados?
Not that we are aware of. I don't think so.
Because this doesn't sound like a regular extradition if that's the case. Because they would have actually gone through the courts and they would have actually asked for him, right?
Yeah,
so it's quite weird.
It is. It has many questions. It leaves more questions than answers, and everybody obviously want to get to the bottom of it.
Yes. Maybe we need to call the new king, right? Get King Charles involved in this, right? So he could put some order back into these colonies, because we've clearly lost the plot here. So this coronation is tomorrow, though, Kim. How do you feel about that? I mean, it's 5 o'clock our time in the morning and 11 o'clock their time. You ready for King Charles? Exactly. Something, Kim, I thought he was already crowned king. I didn't realize the coronation comes way after. Because remember, they had this ceremony after his mom had passed, Queen Elizabeth had passed, and they had this ceremony at one of those large cathedrals, and they actually put the crown. I thought that was a coronation day. I didn't realize that the coronation came months afterwards.
No, I remember when. I was not alive for when the Queen was. She got her coronation. That was over 70 years ago, I believe. So it's something first in our lifetime.
Yes,
there has not been coronation in over 70 years. So it is a bit of history happening in a bit of geopolitics and things like that. And he's of an age, King Charles of a certain age.
Yes.
So we might see another coronation within our lifetime.
I think we will. 'Cause he waited years for that job, man.
He waited, yes. It was when his mom died, at 74 years old, everyone is saying, I've been waiting for this job my entire life.
I can imagine, man. He had 74 years to train for that. Wow. I don't know how you could come into a job like that at such an age, though. I would have passed it off to my son because that could happen to you. You could pass the crown on to the next heir.
Yes,
But
but I don't think he wanted to do that. And here's the thing.
Right.
Normally in the past, he would not have been the king because he would have, he would have kind of abdicated that role because he went through a divorce.
Yes.
It's norm that once you've gone through a divorce, you're not entitled to the crown.
Yeah. But once you're royal, once you're the king, you can do anything, right? So they can make up the rules as they go along. They've had cases where divorced kings of divorced monarchs have married before and divorced before. So, they don't really pay those rules any considerable mind. They can commit murder and still get away with it.
Mommy, you need to give me the king.
Exactly.
Before you die, and give me Camilla, the queen.
Mm-hmm.
So she's not going to be queen consort anymore. She has been that consort that it was said that the title she would be given last year prior to the Queen Elizabeth's passing has been removed. In the last 2 weeks, we actually heard that Camilla will be known as the queen, not queen consort.
Wow. So what's the difference between the queen consort and the queen?
I believe it has something as in you hold a seat, but you don't have certain powers. You're just there. You don't have any powers to say anything or so.
Okay.
I'm wondering if someone dies first, what happens?
Yeah, exactly. Will she be the queen?
I'm not sure what goes on there. So, it's all eyes will be on Westminster and Buckingham. The Westminster Abbey and Buckingham Palace tomorrow.
Yep.
As a whole procession. I think it covers like 1.7 miles, 1.3 miles. It's a bit short compared to the Queen's one. We have some Caribbean troops participating. Jamaica, yes, Defense Force, as well as I think Antigua and Montserrat. Some troops were sent from the Turks and Caicos to participate in this year's coronation march.
That's nice.
They are representing the colonial past, UK territories. Jamaica is not a republic as yet, so I guess that's why they will be there. They still they still default to the Queen, to the monarch, as compared
to Bahamas. And not Barbados anymore.
General still. Yeah. So I believe there may be some representation by those who still are represented by the monarch. Yes.
I've heard our prime minister went over there earlier, but he's back here already, so I'm not sure what he's going to do anymore. So our prime minister has a habit of hiding his travel from us, man. He was over there in the UK just last week, and they said he went for the coronation, but the coronation isn't until tomorrow morning. So why is he back in the Bahamas already?
Probably matters of national importance have
right. Nothing's happening here aside from the same regular foolery up. But we had a big case. The Privy Council ruled in our Chief Justice's favor 2 days ago. Yeah, about this Bahamian men can now pass their citizenship on to their children born of a foreign unwed mother. So if I were to marry, let's say, a Jamaican woman, if I were to meet a Jamaican woman, she has a child for me, I could pass my citizenship on to that child, and they don't have to formally apply for the 18th birthday. So that means, so that's a big change. And the Privy Council ruled and sided with the Chief Justice Ian Winder in his ruling that yes, a Bahamian man can pass his citizenship on to his children born of a foreign mother who was unwed.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that paves the way now for Bahamian females now who may have children born, even in wedlock, born to a foreign man, to be able to pass that citizenship on to their children now. Because as the law stands now, a Bahamian woman, even if she marries let's say a Jamaican man, she can't pass her citizenship on to her child. That child has to formally apply for citizenship.
Wow.
That's wild, isn't it? So you can imagine how many people that affects.
Yeah, I would imagine. And how much it probably affected them even when it came to their inheritance and stuff like that, not so?
Yes, indeed, exactly, right. And we have a whole slew of Haitian Bahamians here in the Bahamas who that's going to affect tremendously, man, tremendously. And that's why Bahamian men are bucking against it, because they don't want all this influx of foreign men coming and taking their women and taking advantage of their women. So, but my thing is, Bahamian men, you don't love your women anyway. What the hell are you talking about? You don't love them. You rape them and you beat them and you fight them and you cuss them in the streets. If you don't love your Bahamian women, you don't want them to find love anywhere else. That's kind of sickening, I think, man. You know, that's what I say. You know, I'll never forget that the Bahamas was ranked #1 in the world, in the Western Hemisphere, with regard to rape and sexual assault. #1, #1 in the Caribbean for sexual assault and rape. But yeah, we love our women so much, we want to protect them from the foreign man. Oh my goodness! Don't you love the hypocrisy? Don't you love the hypocrisy, Kim?
Yeah, it is. It's always that way when it comes to women in most territories and most countries. It's really sad.
Yeah, I didn't realize how low the vibration was for some of our Bahamian men. I didn't realize how low their vibration was until I saw that statistic. And I see them crying and clamoring, but they're going to lose their rights to foreign man. I didn't realize how low they were, Kim. They're low, you know, Kim. They're really, really low.
But it says that you all still also resort to the Privy Council. Here in Trinidad, we still resort to the Privy Council for a lot of ruling.
Yeah.
So we still depend on the British for all things, even though we have the Caribbean Court of Justice. A lot of people have not decided to make that our final appellate.
No.
It shows that we don't have that much trust in our legal fraternity here in the region.
Absolutely not. Would you have trust in them, Kim? Would you trust them? And I'm studying to be a lawyer, by the way, but I've been through some of these classes, and these people are just people, though, Kim. These people are just people, man. They have the same prejudices, and they're prone to the same predilection that anyone else would have. But I guess you could say the same thing about the foreign UK judges in the Privy Council. They have the same prejudices, right? But still, though,
I think they've distanced themselves a little bit from the matter. Yeah, in the region, you're still connected. You're still involved in some way.
Yeah.
You know, you still got your biases. Okay, I know that lawyer. I went to school with him.
Yes.
Most of us would have studied and most of them would have studied at Hugh Wooding Law School, would have special, gotten their law degrees, entered the bar, and would have rubbed shoulders with, their mates on the benches and what have you. So you don't know. You really don't know how it's going to be.
And let's call it like this, though, Kim. Most of these guys, they probably are corrupt. You know, they came through the same corrupt system that we see on a daily basis. How can you tell me now that you're going to rule with judiciousness and fairness when you've come through the same corrupt system that we've been crying about over the last 100+ years now? So please save me the talk. You know, let's continue with the Privy Council until you could show me that you're a straight shooter. You know, I just don't trust them, man. You know, like, for example, can you imagine a Trinidadian judge sitting on the Caribbean Court of Justice dealing with the Clico matter with regard to dispensing what do you call it? A compensation out to places like Guyana and the Bahamas and Barbados, people who were affected by Clico. Can you imagine a Trinidadian judge sitting on that? You can imagine the kind of pressure he would be under. Do you think that would make sense to put someone under that kind of pressure, Kim?
I mean, I think when it came to matters like that, I don't think you have are there some kind of stipulation when it comes to selection of judges? Okay, because you're from this said country and because the defendant is probably from Trinidad, you gotta recuse yourself. Is that it?
I guess you could.
I'm thinking,
like I say, we know they're corrupt. We know they set things up the way they want, right? So, let's remove all of that. Let's remove all of that bias, that perception of bias, and that perception of unfairness. Let's just send it to the UK Privy Council one time. Let's call it what it is. Let's keep the UK Privy Council, I think, because they're going to interpret the law based on what the law actually says it is. And regardless of what you say, all these Caribbean constitutions, the Commonwealth Caribbean in particular, they're all the same thing, It's just that some of the clauses may be in different numbers and different sections, but they're all the same thing. They all have the same interpretation. And the UK Privy Council is going to read it into today's language and read it from a human rights and European Human Rights Commission perspective in any event. So our constitutions are pretty much worthless when it comes down to it. Only deals with certain minor things, and we can actually govern these islands and these commonwealths by. But otherwise than that, But the law pretty much, makes up its mind as it goes along.
I agree there. I've seen a difference, okay. I think about some cases that went to the Privy Council, and I think, hey, that really worked out in their favor
Mhm.
because they looked at the law, they went into the law going
Mhm.
back and said, no, there's no way it could be interpreted in that manner,
Yes, indeed.
and they would have won.
Indeed,
Uh,
indeed.
so some cases like that would have recently showed up here in Trinidad where they took it to the Privy Council and they got their justice.
Yes, yes, yes. Because all of these Caribbean constitutions, they were cookie cutter Caribbean constitutions given by the UK government. I mean,
Right.
all these constitutions are the same thing. So you thought that your framers of the Constitution was up, bringing the midnight oil, writing your Constitution? Hell no, hell no. Listen to some of those guys. Do you think those guys had the capacity to think beyond 10 seconds? Do you think they have the capacity to concentrate to any great extent? No, they don't. They don't. I listen to some of those people, Kim. I listen to some of them. They don't have that, Kim. They were not up all night bringing the midnight oil back and forth to United Kingdom, going through letter by letter and line by line and clause by clause about what this constitution is going to look like. They were given the constitution because Britain wanted to get rid of all of these colonies. And so that's really what it was. And so we've been sold a bill of goods thinking our constitution frames were some magnificent men and women, just with this luminary kind of this luminescence about them, right? They were so bright and they were so intelligent above everybody else. Hell no, they weren't. Hell no, they weren't.
So with the King's coronation in play right now, I'm hearing that Jamaica right now, they are actually pushing to become a republic. They are trying to attain the republic status, similar to what Barbados would have done 2 years ago.
Yeah, they're just
And
jealous.
the Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, Malahu Fort, had sat down with several foreign media houses
Mm.
earlier this week, last week or so, saying that it's about time.
Mm.
They think it's about time that Jamaica stands on its own 2 feet and has it, they relinquish the monarch and become a republic, finally have their president. So they took to the streets and they asked the common man, what do you think about this? And one guy said, stick to the evil that you know. No, it's not going to stick. So when you said that, when it comes to our CCJ, he said, stick to the evil that you know. I found that very funny.
Indeed, indeed. Stick to the demon that you know, man. At least you know that demon. You know exactly how he's coming.
Yeah.
I would say Jamaica don't do it either. Don't fall behind Barbados. Mia Marley is a special character, right? She's doing something totally different over there. Do you really trust Bruce Golding to come back and run a country that he has had total control over? the man who let Dudas Coke run wild in his country for several months and had a huge standoff. He couldn't even control one. He couldn't control one constituency. Kim, can you imagine having Jamaica again?
Oh my!
Wow, that would be amazing, Kim. To me, honestly, they only jealous because Barbados up and they did it right, and they always thought that they were the leaders of the Caribbean. They always thought that they were the intellectual lights of the Caribbean. They always thought that they were they were the Caribbean. But otherwise than that, man, just calm your foot, man. Relax. Don't mind me, Motley.
Independence. Why go after republicanism as well, right?
Yeah. Leave me and Motley alone. Relax yourself, child.
Trinidad and Tobago, we attained republic status many years ago.
Years ago, exactly.
So we've grown accustomed with the system. We have our own president and what have you. And right now people are saying, let's go back to the crown. Let's go back to the
really.
Especially the latest thing that would have happened when it came to the election of the president that we have.
Yeah.
It said that she comes from the bellows of the PNM and things like that.
But I said before though, Kim, don't you realize that position is a position of sinecure? Like that's not a position. The president of Trinidad is not a real position. It's only a figurehead. They do nothing, Kim.
Yeah.
So
no, but in our situation here, the president often they are in charge of selection of state commissions or independent senators. So it does affect our legislature.
Right.
Under
the advice of the prime minister, however, right?
They have say in the executive.
Under the advice of the prime minister, though, right, Kim?
Under the advice of the prime minister. So you're going to a lot of people they questioned, okay, how independent are you going to be? If we have to select independent senators, you might be choosing someone who might actually have a political affiliation. This in this particular case,
Mhm.
I'm not saying the other presidents were like that.
Mm.
I'm saying, well, could be. I question some of the independent senators that were selected.
Mm.
But when it comes to the selection of independent senators, in this scenario, a lot of people question how independent is she going to be. She might select someone and they might be pro-government. And when you're supporting, you have to pass a special majority in the lower house.
Mm.
In the upper house, that's Senate. They will probably go towards, the government's favor. So it kind of questions all of that.
I'll tell you what she's going to do. She is going to do exactly what Prime Minister Raleigh advises that she do. And the same
Exactly.
what Prime Minister Raleigh told Paula May weeks to do before her. And so there's nothing's really much going to change, Kim.
As I said, I mean, with Paul May Weeks, everybody would have questioned. So what is she really doing? She did not really go out there and do anything with the people. As compared to Carmona, Hasnali, and the others, they were quite involved in NGOs and helping out and showing a public face. The poor and the privileged, they would speak to them. Paula May did not do anything like that, and everybody questioned, what is she really doing? The nation needs comforting. Where's your voice? Where are you? Say something. You're also a woman, so they expect a female. You're the first female president, so they're expecting a feminine touch, something maternal. When it comes to the state hurting, they expect you to stand up and be a voice for the women in the country that are experiencing numbers of domestic violence, very brutal cases that were occurring at one season, and they were calling, and she was not there.
That exposes the fatal flaw in female leadership, doesn't it, though, Kim? Right?
What's that?
That exposes the fatal flaw in female leadership, doesn't it, though, right, Kim? I mean, can you really expect a woman to lead when she has not had a history of leading and making decisions?
The thing is, she held quite what was the role she held in Turks and Caicos? She was a lawyer. I think she was a judge there as well. So it would call on you to show some sort of judgment, some kind of, sympathy in a sort of way. It's supposed to appeal to your maternal instinct. It's supposed to appeal to your caring side. That's what the office holder of the president is supposed to do. They look to you for those things. We have a former president. His name is Nur Hasnal. He died many years ago, but his wife is in her 90s and she's quite present still in NGOs and doing things for women, for girls, for art, for a lot of things in society. She's still very vocal and active despite being in her 90s.
Yeah. Now that comes down to the person too, Kim, right? Because some people just don't care for these civic organizations, and that's a shame. I agree with you. That's a shame. You should have some interest. You should have some hobby. You should have some special cause that you support.
A character. People look for these things in your character.
Yeah.
If it's present, it's
we say character.
Character.
Not character.
I say character. We say character.
I say character. You say character.
I guess it's how our pronunciation is different.
Character.
Comes down to that morals and values that has been often, pulled out here in Trinidad. Where's your morals and values? That was a famous statement by our former president, A.N.R. Robinson. All right.
So don't beat up on your president too much, man. There's only so much they can do, Don't really beat up on them so much. If you want to be more high flying, the next time, tell Raleigh to pick someone who's more of a social butterfly, then, because don't expect them to do much with regard to actually trying to govern, because that's not their position. That's what I'm trying to say,
I know when we look at the Constitution and their role, there is some things that you can do and say. You're not just a seat holder. Say something, do something,
Join a group. Fair enough. Well, we'll find someone who's willing to join a group. That's one flaw that Raleigh has. Yes, he should have found somebody who could actually, who actually likes to go around and meet people and actually wants to do things in the community.
But Paula May, I always say that she did one good thing, and I think that was the hiring. She got in contact with Jeremy Lynch. He's the one that was in charge of our commission inquiry into the diverse situation here.
Yeah.
So I give her, if there's one good thing that I know that she did, was getting Jeremy Lynch because he seemed to have shown some kind of bipartisanship when it came to listening to them, hearing the stories, ventilating it for the public to hear, and appreciated his input and his role at the commissioner inquiry.
Yeah, that was just a nasty accident, though. I guess Trinidad's still reeling from that, right?
It's never forgotten. I mean, every time I look outside my window, I see the jetty. I see that, and I remember it. I remember getting the text in my news group that night, and I looked outside and I watched the lights, and it's something. It's like, oh my God, you can't believe it. And his family, the family members were very much linked to our yacht club, the yacht club in San Fernando. Every time we go there, it's also a memory, and sometimes you may see them there too.
Yeah. Rest in peace to those guys, man. It's been over a year now, right, Kim?
It's over a year, but their families have to do without it. Young children have to grow up without ever knowing their fathers.
Yes. How sad. But back to the coronation again. It says tomorrow at 5 o'clock, though, Kim.
5 o'clock.
Yeah, 5 a.m. in the morning.
That's usual time for these things to happen. The only thing I saw start late was, I think, Prince Philip's funeral, and that was during the COVID times. It was very limited. So
yeah, and Queen Elizabeth went right after him, didn't she? She didn't last 3 years, right?
What's that? No, it was just a little over a year.
Yeah, she didn't last that long. Usually when you lose your mate at that kind of age, the other one goes right behind them. Only if there wasn't any real love that the person lingers on this earth to suffer by themselves.
I mean, it was really sad to see her sit by herself during.
Yes. I wasn't used to that, Kim. I was used to seeing her.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm still used to her being the queen. I've been stuck in my mind. It hasn't stuck in my mind that King Charles is actually King Charles now. And you don't say QC anymore. You say Casey. You say King Charles. Yeah. So it's still sticking in my mind right now, So I still miss the old girl because she's been a part of my life all my life,
Yeah, most of us we've grown up with the queen.
Yeah.
When you talk about the monarch, it's the queen we talk about.
Yes. The longest reigning monarch in the room.
Yeah, she's been long standing in our lifetime. But I'm hearing that with his coronation taking place, he's sovereign over 14 overseas Commonwealth states still.
Yeah. Bermuda, the Caymans.
Yeah, it's still a lot of obviously saying that they're looking to walk away from this. What the Jamaican minister would have spoken, Malahoo Fort, she alluded that when they visited Jamaica, it was actually Prince William and his wife Kate. When they visited some time ago, they failed to formally apologize for slavery. That's what they're looking for. Apart from that, she says the whole Windrush issue, she cited that. And I think it's really a slap in the face. You have to apologize for what you're doing to the Windrush generation. The Windrush generation was brought from all Caribbean colonial states to your country to assist in the deficits when it came to nursing staff, when it came to labor shortages while your men were out at war, right? They came and they supplemented what was needed. They tended to the sick. They helped out so much, and they helped sustain your economy and build it, right?
Yeah.
All of these things to be slapped in the face that you need to go back home now. And they're even telling their children who are also of retirement age, because most of them would have gone in the 1940s.
Oh, yes.
40s, and then they would have had children. Their children are now over 60 and 40 and 50. And
actually, who should be made to apologize for that? David Cameron and Theresa May should be made to apologize for that because she was the Home Secretary. But
we're saying that the monarch should, you're responsible for these colonial states. You're responsible for bringing them to your country. To an extent, you need to say something, because as a monarch, you do have a say. And you need to put a stop to this. It's ill treatment. It's unfair. It's denying them their pensions. So Jamaica has all of that in the background. when it
Well,
comes.
did she bring that across to them before they actually visited Jamaica? That, we having an issue with this? Or did she just wait for them to show up and then she just start, making noise and complaining and whining and carrying on like how my girlfriend does? I walk in the door and all of a sudden I've done all these horrible things I don't even remember that I was a part of, right?
I mean, everyone expected, okay, you're coming after this time. They're expecting that Prince William and Kate, you're the younger generation. You would have benefited from colonialism because you're heir to the throne. And
I can imagine though, Kim. I can imagine those people aren't really thinking about that every day of their life. They're thinking about the slavery.
no, but you would have. And I mean, these people do some research. They're briefed by their secretaries, their advisors. They are briefed of culture protocol, right? So you are aware of certain things. I believe that they did do some things that they tried to replicate when the Queen would have visited herself, wearing similar tones, doing certain things, and a lot of people saw it as very insulting. Some of the things that they had done. So it was aired back then.
Okay.
That visit.
Fair enough then. But let's not overdo it, man. Let's try to be at least fair. Because I don't think Prince William and Princess Kate were actually thinking about, slavery when they visited Jamaica. They probably just was visiting just to visit, just to show you some common courtesy. Not to be sandblasted with, all kinds of complaints and queries and questions. And there's a formal protocol that you actually present these complaints to the monarch. You just don't up and just start, complaining because they wouldn't know. They're not expecting to walk into that.
No,
they're not checking like that.
If you were to really listen to what happens in the house, you actually hear their representatives who are of Caribbean lineage, who come from the Windrush era. They would have laid on table certain things, calling for certain statements to be said.
Yeah.
I don't think you just go up and visit a country that is part of your colonial heritage and you go and, you're blank when it comes to these things. They are very much aware of it. And you have to know that they are aware of the cultural sensitivities associated with their visit. They're not daft when it comes to it. They are aware.
Okay.
They're taking a diplomatic visit. They're not just going on a vacation like you and I picking up ourselves and saying, hey, I'm going so and so country. You're unaware of the cultural norms or anything like that. No, these are diplomatic ties. These are the people with an entourage that they have to facilitate cultural norms when entering a different territory. You have to be aware of this. There's a protocol associated on both sides when it comes to interacting with the monarch and when the monarch even has to interact with the normal man. And to do otherwise would be a slap in the face.
Okay, fair enough then. Okay, I can take that then. No problem.
And then obviously there's been a call for reparations for the last 12 years. With the UN designated in the last decade, the decade of people of African descent, it is a known fact, right? The Caribbean has been lobbying for reparations for some time. It has not been something that came up just yesterday.
Yes. And there's no formal apology for slavery. No.
Windrush era has been at the fore for the last decade as well. We've been hearing the plight of these people.
Yes. And even more seriously over the last 5 years, right? When they actually found they lost some of their benefits. Yeah. Which is really mean because I didn't know what Windrush until I actually had to write a story on it about 5 years ago. And I realized, oh, that's what they did. That's what Theresa May and David Cameron did. That is so sickening, man. That's a slap in the face. How could you want these people out of your country now? They're part of Britain. They are a part of the United Kingdom, They are the United Kingdom.
They helped out when no one else was willing to do that. They stepped up. They left their homes, whether or not their homes was not all that. They came and they toiled on your soil.
Yes, indeed. That's a slap in the face. Indeed. Well, Kim, hopefully King Charles will get it right.
I'm not holding my breath, to be honest. I would have anticipated.
Color,
I'm hoping. I would like to see that the younger generation do something. I'll be a little more sensitive. I know the Queen was probably a bit frail, and there's so much she has been somewhat kind in the sense that she formulated the whole Commonwealth.
Yes.
And if he is of any merit, he would, stand and do something for the Commonwealth, a betterment of its people.
Yes. Let's see what he does. Let's see what kind of legacy he leaves.
Legacy, Exactly.
Yeah, that's your kind of legacy you leave. Because I think right now he's trying to bring everybody back into the fold. If you notice what's been happening in the Caribbean in particular, that they've been engaging with a lot of trade talks now in the Caribbean. I think they're trying to get all these former colonies in the Caribbean back together under one umbrella, all the wayward colonies.
Well,
And
after Brexit,
yeah, the
Brexit
Brexit really
has
pushing that. Yeah.
affected us, but the EU is still very much present,
Yeah.
right?
And he sees that opportunity now. So he wants to grab that opportunity and run with that. And I think that's a good idea. I believe in the Commonwealth. I really do. I believe in the Commonwealth. I believe it can be a real powerful bloc worldwide. And forget the European Union. Once we build up our little Commonwealth bloc, it'll be more powerful than what you would ever even imagine it would be, because the United Kingdom, their empire stretched across the world from India to the Bahamas to even the United States. So they have a lot of power. Yeah.
New Zealand and Australia.
Yeah, man. It's a powerful bloc, man. The Commonwealth is a powerful bloc. Along with the British Empire.
Well, that's their legacy. The Commonwealth is their legacy after all.
Yes, it is, Kim.
So it fit to bring them under one uniting umbrella, hoping as one community. And that's the thing. I mean, the Queen often would have spoken to these things every time at her Christmas message, during her Jubilee and things like that. And vastly missed that.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss her Christmas message like I miss my grandmother's fruitcake. I swear, Kim. It didn't hit me that my grandmother had passed away until I realized I wasn't getting any fruitcake that year, Kim. I'm not getting a fruitcake this year from Grammy.
That's a Christmas message in the year gone by.
I know, right?
Something from King Charles instead.
Yeah, gonna become from her, but I was used to the old girl. I was used to Queen Elizabeth. Yeah,
It was a bit of a relic. It was a bit of something to look forward to in a sense. It was tradition. It was as a broadcaster, we often shared the message. We often covered it. It was a mainstay on Christmas Day.
Yes, indeed. It meant something, it meant that she actually cared, even though we know she didn't care, right? It meant that she actually cared, that she has her eye on everybody, right? Her entire realm. And you felt a part of it, you felt a part of something, man. You felt a part of it, man. Like I said, I missed it. Like I miss my grandmother's fruitcake. I look forward to my grandmother's fruitcake every November. I would get a fruitcake the month leading into Christmas. I would get a Christmas fruitcake, and now I wasn't getting that anymore. So I know exactly how it feels. Like something's missing, Kim. Like something's really missing, man. And so hopefully King Charles can fill his mother's shoes.
It's some big shoes.
Yeah.
That's rain. It's some really huge shoes to fill.
Yes. I really hope he can, because my God, we need some healing, man. But like I said, I believe in the Commonwealth, man. It's better than the OAS, I believe. The Commonwealth Association of Commonwealth League of Countries is better than the OAS. 100 times better. Do you follow the OAS to any great extent? The Organization of American States?
The Summit of the Americas. It's our connection with Latin America.
Yeah, that's a do-nothing organization, isn't it?
What's that?
That's a do-nothing organization, aren't they?
Nothing organized. I won't say that so much.
I know you wouldn't, right? Because you're not me. You're not me. I could say it though, right? I mean, I get their press releases, Kim. It's nothing a bunch of photos, man. They do nothing. They stand on no issue in particular. They have not let any negotiations, even with Venezuela going into the dumps right now. They have not let any negotiations into that. They're doing nothing, Kim. That's a do-nothing organization. The Organization of American States. They do nothing. A bunch of meaningless observations of these elections. They do absolutely nothing. They lead no reforms. They're involved in no particular cause. They're not at the bottom of any kind of conflict whatsoever. They're not leading any negotiations anywhere.
They are in charge of restraining Cuba and Venezuela.
They are in charge of restraining Cuba and Venezuela.
Who are communists and not democratic, right?
Oh,
that's
God.
One thing we usually hear when it comes closer to the Summit of the Americas.
A bunch of talk, right? A bunch of pictures. They take a lot of pictures, though. A lot of photos, a lot of photo galleries. They call them photo editorials, they call them. I get them in my email all the time, but there's no substantive call to do anything, Kim. Trust me, I see the information come across my desk all the time. They are a do-nothing organization, Kim. And it's sad, though. They could be so much more. They give the odd scholarship every now and then, but they
created the IDB, not so? I think
no, that's not them. That's not the United States created the IDB. The IDB is a part of the World Bank and the IMF group. And they sat around in Washington, D.C. and they decided that the Inter-American Development Bank needed to be created, and thus it was created. The OAS had nothing to do with the IDB. Nothing whatsoever. Like I say, it's useless. The IDB has more power than the OAS.
Really? Okay. Well, I got the impression that the IDB was part of the OAS charter.
No, absolutely not. The OAS is a do nothing organization, Kim. It does nothing. Like, take for example, what's happening in Venezuela and Haiti right now. Is the OAS actually participating in anything meaningful with regard to making sure that some of these conflicts are actually satiated? No, they're not. Even in El Salvador and Panama and Nicaragua right now, where they're teetering now on the brink of collapse. Because a lot of these countries, especially Nicaragua and El Salvador, they're starting to arrest a lot of these MS-13 gang members now. And it's really causing a big uproar in some of these countries, man. The OAS is not involved at all. And in Nicaragua in particular, they're battling now with a dictator that's been there. He keeps winning elections, right? And he's just battling, just hanging on there, Ortega. And the OAS has not said anything. They have not led any kind of initiative to bring some peace between both sides of the fence. They're not doing anything, Kim. It's just a waste of American money. When that money could be going to Haiti and it could be going to the Bahamas in particular, because we're in debt. Spend some money elsewhere. Don't waste it on the OAS anymore, man, because they're not doing anything.
Okay.
That's my rant for the night. See, you won the other rant. You won the other rant on the where was Prince William. You won that rant. Not knowing what's going on the ground. He's not aware of the street talk. He's not aware of what's real in Jamaica. You won that one. Not fair. But let me win the OAS argument, because trust me, I see it, right? I win that one.
I mean, I cover them. I think what they're really all about is when it comes to oil and gas, energy resources on this side of the hemisphere. So they have they believe they have some touting power when it comes to that.
Really? Oh, okay.
Right. That's my impression of them.
Impression of them? Wow. Well, I haven't seen a more useless organization than CARICOM, to be honest with you. At least CARICOM, they try to do some stuff with regard to pushing the CSME. Otherwise than that, I mean, what really is CARICOM really doing? They had their crime symposium in Trinidad the other day. Did anything happen out of that? Anything meaningful happen? Really meaningful happening out of that, Kim? Tell the truth. Be honest with yourself. You were there. Tell the truth. Did anything meaningful happen out of that crime symposium? What happened?
I have some news for you today. 2 weeks ago, the Prime Minister went to the House, and when they asked him how much did it cost for the hosting, he had said it was just 1.5 million. No one, we all know that's a big lie.
Oh wow, it was a lie. More than that, right?
At the statutory today, we had a how they call those standing finance committees in the lower house. Well, the standing finance committee. And they have to go through their budgetary allocations. They have it's coming. I think it's a mid-year review, because a budget usually comes up in September, October. They were finding out that the hosting of that 2-day conference cost us $125.5 million.
Wow, that's TT dollars, right? Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money that could have been put towards getting those port scanners that we need for borders.
Exactly right. They had these people just talk rubbish, Kim, and they actually didn't get to any substantive issue with regard to crime. That's the hurting part about it, because people are now saying it. They had this symposium and they didn't get to any root causes of crime, Kim.
Mia Motley had said, we're having this talk shop 2 days. But we need to get a resolution. We need to come up with something. And she told Dr. Rowley that on his stage. And everybody was like, "You're leading this, Dr. Rowley. What are we going to come up with at the end of these 2 days?"
Yeah, what is she going to do? She's calling Keith Rowley. What's she going to do? She's just as wayward as anybody else, right? I told you this before. Don't get me started on Mia Motley, Kim. Don't get me started on her, because I believe she's worse than our prime minister with regard to saying all these empty statements and not having anything behind it. So don't get me started, Kim. Don't get me started on her.
We say that
she's in no position, Kim. She's in no position to call any prime minister in the region about what they're doing. No position, not whatsoever. She has no moral high ground. None.
Yeah, she said it herself. Well, and that's something she always says. Calls out everyone on the moral high ground. But that's another story to say. When they gave the breakdown today, I was listening to it earlier, and the breakdown, it said like $60,000 for meals for the secretariat. It's like,
wow. What are they eating?
$60 for this. It's like, and this is
a lot of land.
It's a lot of money.
So they were drinking Bel Air there, Kim. Bel Air and Dom Perignon, man. Cristal, champagne, caviar, and the
Yeah.
good and the good group one. And the good group one. Yeah. That's a spread they had there. You know, that's a public service always. They always spend our money on food in these banquets, right? And that's no different anywhere else around the Caribbean. They'll spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on food.
Yeah, we do. They eat a lot.
Yeah, they do, and everybody eats. Everybody
And
eats. They eat the
it was
best.
it was a long conference because I tuned
Yeah.
in both days, and both days went straight from 9 o'clock, almost 12 hours. So that's a
Mm,
lot of eating. You've
yeah.
got breakfast, you've got tea breaks, you've got lunch, you've got
Yep.
tea breaks, and you have dinner.
Hmm.
That's meals all throughout the day, and then you have to take care of accommodations as well.
Yeah. And they were eating good, Kim. Trust me with that. They were eating good.
Security is no cheap thing.
Yeah.
They're not going to be held up
No.
driving. They're not driving on a beatum and
No.
dealing with somebody stuck in traffic, trying to
Absolutely not.
gunpoint while they're stuck in traffic, trying to make your way home.
Absolutely not. And see, Kim, sorry to go another round, but that's why I don't like socialism, you know. This is the problem I have with anyone who even thinks that socialism is a good idea for any Caribbean country, because guess what? It always ends up in these bureaucrats. They have these large conferences and they spend our tax dollars just to feed themselves, and they actually get to the bottom of nothing, Kim.
Nothing.
So yeah, that's what they do.
Chest and say, "Hey, we spoke about it. We said it down."
Exactly. And on top of that, can we talk about crony capitalism? We talking about crony liberalism. The fact is, in socialism, they have the same thing, because you'll have the same uncle who's in charge of this corporation hire his cousin, because that's my cousin, because he's on the public dole, right? He's on the public paycheck. And so he hires the same kind of cronyism you'll have with capitalism. So you might as well stick with something that's going to actually build some wealth rather than believing in this socialist utopia. It's just foolishness, Kim. This foolishness. And the same kind of dumb cousin they're going to hire, you're going to have the same, you're actually going to have better luck with hiring somebody else in the private sector, because at least they're going to be forced to compete and perform, rather than, just hiring a cousin in this monolithic structure that you can't get rid of unless you have like a revolution, right? So you might as well have free market capitalism, and you might as well have some liberalism. You might as well have this laissez-faire attitude, so let people have a chance to actually compete for some of these things, man. Because it's socialism the other way. You're gonna have a lot of these conferences just like this, where they had that regional crime symposium with a bunch of airheads who are going on nothing more than patronism and their crony favoritism, right? And you're gonna get the same level of stupidness they've been getting for the last 20, 30 plus years. You might as well have an open society, Kim. Might as well. That's my rant.
Free capitalism, you're pro.
Yes, I'm for freedom, Kim. That's why my company's named Western Freedoms. I believe in free speech. I believe in these freedoms, Kim. I really believe in this, because I see what the other side does. I see what the other side can do, and I have appreciation that I don't want to be with that. So I'm going to fight with that for the rest of my life, Kim. For the rest of my life, I'm going to be a beacon of freedom. You have the right to say it here. You could say anything you want here. Once it's not libeling, once you're not slandering anybody, you could say it here on this platform. And that's what this is about. I believe in that, Kim. You better believe in that too.
To an extent, I was going to say something to counter that, but it slipped me, and perhaps.
Oh yeah, that's good. The Jesus told you to get it out of your mind, Kim. Yeah, a little angel whispered in your mind, say, "Kim, don't say it, because you don't be against."
I have some dogs barking on the street there.
Oh, okay. Hopefully, no one's trying to break into your place, Kim. You sure?
No, it's just some dogs barking. They've got the dogs.
Mm.
The dogs that like to come out at night.
Okay. You have a stray dog problem in Trinidad too?
We do. We actually do. Yeah.
Yeah. I was bitten twice since I moved to my new place. I was walking out to the corner to go to my morning walk, and they have a pack of dogs. Yeah, it's
shots for it.
No, I'm all right though. I'm all right. I was built for it tough. I'm not some kind.
I know once we get a dog bite here, you have to get your tetanus shots, because it can actually cause some kind of blood poisoning and stuff like that.
No, I'm all right though. I actually reported to the police the last time I was bitten, and the police hasn't showed up yet, and it's still the same dogs out here.
These dogs, they're friendly in the sense that they just want a meal.
Yeah, I know exactly where they hang out. Yeah,
they aren't bothered about attacking you or anything like that.
I know, but why did they bite me though? They're not bothered about attacking me. They bit me.
They probably didn't like. I don't like that guy. I'm gonna go get to know his uncle.
Mm.
I've got to attack my dogs a few times in my lifetime. I guess cats around me, and like, let's get her.
Yeah, yeah, let's get it. And once they start barking at you, they surround you in the packs. There's always going to be that one who's going to get really, really brave, and he's going to actually nip you, right? And that's what actually happens. So
Uh,
one,
I have a neighbor that has like about 12 dogs in their yard,
Mhm,
and they came at me one morning, and it's like,
mhm.
my God, I didn't know. It's like, get your dogs back in the yard. Why are you, you know?
Yeah.
These dogs actually attacked my dog. Anyway, we're going over time. So let me.
Oh wow, that's when they attack your friend, right? And my other place, they attacked one of my dogs. They actually ripped his throat, but he didn't die though. They actually punctured his throat, and it was a pit bull, Kim. It was a pit bull running loose. It was a pit bull running loose. I remember this story, yeah, because he used to tell my dog all the time because my dog was a lover, right? My dog had all of the bitches and he in his yard. My former dog was so smart, Muhammad. He was actually save half of his food dish for the other female dogs come and eat, and when they come to eat, yeah,
He's a typical Bahamian man.
yeah, he would have his way with him, man. He was good. He was slick, man. And the other dogs didn't like that because he was well taken care of, right? So like they had a whole pit bull loose, man. They had a pit bull loose. So we had to call animal control to get rid of him, man.
This
How do you let
happened.
a pit bull run loose in the neighborhood, Kim?
And most of the time, well, in our situation, they rushed into our yard, they
Mm,
attacked our dog, and
mm.
he's such a timid, nice creature. He just rolled over and took it, and these 7 dogs attacked him, and we had to rush him to the vet.
Yeah, yeah, that's sad. He couldn't fight for himself.
No,
Uh,
he's a baby. He was a pampered baby. He liked car rides. He would stand. He's like probably 30 pounds, 40 pounds. He was a big
mhm,
pooch. He would
mhm,
stand on your lap and you would swear. It's
mhm.
like you're not a puppy anymore, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Some pets are pets, and some pets are just different, man. Some pets are lovable, and some pets they all depends on their personality, Kim. So he had a sweet personality. But you
Yeah,
like cats though. What are you doing with a dog? That's cheating.
that's my dad's dogs.
Okay.
This is my dad's dogs. We have the cats. But he brought the cats because the cats came because of him though. And the
Okay,
dog.
okay. They came to eat his food. That's what happened.
Yes. So
It's
we
definitely.
get so excited during mealtime that they bark up a storm.
Mm.
And it's like, oh, it's dinner time, it's dinner time, la 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 la, barking, making noise. And then all these stray cats showed up.
Yeah.
Hey, and my dad went, it's like, we could have stopped this thing with the cats. Let me put them up for adoption. Don't touch that cat. Don't bring the cat inside. And he started feeding the cats, and that's how we got a cat population in our yard.
Mm. He fed him because of you. He loved you. That's what happened. So he said, "Let's keep the cat."
No, he quarreled with us. And
Mm.
then a few months later, they showed up and he started to feed them.
Ah, Lord. So he fell in love with them. Ah, Lord. That's how it goes. The father who did not want a cat, who didn't want a pet. Now he loves the pet. But Kim, that's our time though. It's 9:33 now. So how do you feel, man? How's the show? You love the show tonight? Good to be back tonight because we missed Wednesday. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think we made up for Wednesday a bit.
Yeah, we did. It's a good chat tonight, man. We talked about the king, the new King Charlie. Wish him all the best. But long live the king. I want to say that long live the king.
We're accustomed saying long live the queen.
There's long live the king now.
My statement was keep calm and carry on. I'm not sure what his statement is going to be
Hmm.
and what's his defining period. So we look forward
Yeah.
to see what's going to be his defining period.
Yes.
We forgot to mention that the World Health Organization also declared that the pandemic is done. It is
Yes. Yes. I saw that. Yeah, we didn't talk about that. We talked about it on Monday though.
Yeah.
Because I see now the United States now letting you travel through the United States without actually having a vaccination.
From May 11th.
Yeah, May 11th. Yeah, yeah. So that's good. So we can talk about that on Monday too, Kim. Otherwise, in that, Kim, thank you for joining me tonight again, Kim. So this ends another LimeVibe Live podcast. I'm your host, Yuri Camp, and thank you for joining us again on the LimeVibe Live podcast. If you have not done so already, go to our YouTube page, LimeVibe, or go to our Facebook page, LimeVibe, and click like and subscribe to our pages and like our videos. It really helps us out a lot. So thank you once again for tuning in for another LimeVibe Live podcast, and we'll be back on Monday again for another LimeVibe Live podcast. So this is Yuri Camp saying goodbye on behalf of my co-host, Miss Kimberly Ramcalawan. We'll see you again on Monday. Thank you so much. Good night.
Good night, folks.